What rights do employers and H-1B employees, I know you touched this a little bit, have during FDNS site visits? And can they refuse participation? And how can employers verify FDNS officers' identities? Now, there are a lot of scams. Somebody can knock the door and say, because they don't come in like a uniform with, they probably have a badge. Anything can be fake. So, how do they, verify the credentials, and can the employers or the H-1B site holders um, refuse the participation?
It's funny because the site visit process, according to USCIS's own website on FDNS, is a voluntary participation program. And you're not required to participate. And if you refuse to participate, they're supposed to actually stop the site visit. They're not following their own rules on that last part. But the first thing that I do when I'm representing somebody that's going through a site visit is I highlight and send them a copy of a screenshot of that website saying, all right, so your voluntary process you want us to participate in. We might tell us what you're looking for. There are certain things that I will never give them, and that is information about pay, because I've seen crazy examples where USCIS has gotten information about pay. The worst one I've ever seen was a W-2 where the employee was paid $19,000. The wage on the LCA was $120,000.
Wow.
USCIS revoked the visa for failure of the employee to maintain status for not getting paid fully. There's any number of reasons why there could have been a legal shortchange in wages that way. But regardless of what the reason is, an employee really shouldn't get punished for something that is completely beyond their control. And so, that's why I don't give pay. The other reason I don't give pay information is because Congress gave the authority to set wages and enforce wages to one agency, and it wasn't USCIS. It was the Department of Labor. And the Department of Labor is not allowed to go in and randomly ask for information about pay for your employees. So if the Department of Labor, who's the only agency with authority in this area, can't do this, why does USCIS think they can? And so, that we push back on that all the time. I would say for most H-1Bs, let me take a step back. With a fraud finding, you have to have an affirmative communication between yourself and the immigration agency in pursuit of an immigration benefit. And you have to know that communication was false at the time it was made. In the H-1B petition process, you as the employee are never communicating with the government. In fact, there's a rule in the regulations that says they won't accept any communication from you. And so in the petition process, it's almost impossible for the employee to commit fraud because everything is sent by the employer. The site visit process is the only time that you as the employee are really going to be directly interfacing with the U.S. government immigration agency. And that's really where you're most susceptible to them issuing a fraud finding. Sadly, you can't trust on them to accurately summarize things. You can't trust them to follow the rules. And I've seen documentary proof where FDNS officers have lied in the report that they sent to the service centers that ended up in a notice of intent to revoke. And we had emails going back and forth with that same officer that proved he was lying. So I don't trust the FDNS any farther than I can throw them. And so I wouldn't, for the listening audience, I wouldn't trust them either. One of the easy ways to get out of that conversation is kind of what you alluded to earlier, was if they show up at your house, you do not have to let them in. But more importantly, you don't have to talk to them. But if you're uncomfortable getting out of the situation, just saying, you know what, there's so many people out there scamming immigrants. I don't know if you're legit. I can't vet you. But you know what? My attorney can. My attorney will be able to figure out if you're legit and, much faster and easier than I can. So why don't you talk with them? Ideally, it's, you would have an attorney already on the hook for that. But if you don't, buy some time to get some. Just take their card and tell them you'll have your attorney get in touch with them.
So viewers out there, if you have a site visit, and the site visit, these days after post COVID, there's a lot of specifically in the IT industry, there's a lot of work from home. So when you work from home, do some homework. Keep You never know, they might just knock your door. You can definitely reach out to John's office. I have the phone numbers listed on the screen, but people who are just listening to this, the phone number is 703-216-8148. And his email is John, Jon, there's no H, Jon at Wasden, WASDEN.law, LAW. So John, would you take, if somebody has trouble with the FDNS, there's, somebody knocks at the door, and, if, let's say, the officer is little, they're trying to harass, uh, and, as you just stated, there could be a bunch of lies. Now, assuming the officer is legit, can the H-1B visa holder connect with your firm, or they have to come through their employer? How does it work?
No, so the site visit process could be done under the auspices of the employer, and a lawyer can represent employees of the company with just the employer's G-28, the Notice of Appearance of Counsel. That G-28 is the only document that allows an attorney to talk to the agency on your behalf. If you don't have it, they won't talk to you. So the employer can just have a blanket G-28 for all of the employees, or they can just have, one G-28 just under the company's name, and everybody kind of derives a benefit from that that's an employee. If the employer doesn't have an attorney doing FDNS defense work, or if you're not really comfortable with the one that you're dealing with, you can get your own attorney to handle the case.
Okay, guys, you heard it. If you are on an H-1B, there is a possibility, every possibility that you might have a random visit. So John looks like it's a subscription package. So you can ask your employer to connect with John's office.
Are you an IT consultant seeking a new opportunity? We offer job placement services for U.S. citizens, green cards, EADs, and visa holders. We also sponsor various work visas like H-1B, E3, TN, and green cards. 20 plus years of experience in the industry. Exceptional employee benefits. Highly rated by our employees. Global presence with 200 plus recruiters and direct clients. Connect with us. Call us on the number 833-412-8472 or mail us at support@higheritpeople.com or visit our website www.higheritpeople.com.